Would you rather explore space or study the ocean? Comparisons help us express preferences, differences, quantities, and opinions. In this lesson, you'll learn 5 useful comparative structures. By the end, you'll be able to discuss complex subjects such as space exploration more naturally and accurately.
I would definitely prefer to explore space rather than study the ocean.
First, we can compare 2 preferences using prefer and rather than. Listen, I would definitely prefer to explore space rather than study the ocean. After prefer, we use the infinitive to explore. After rather than, we normally use the base form, study. The word definitely makes the preference stronger. Here's another example. I'd prefer to fund medical research rather than build a new rocket. Now complete this sentence. I'd prefer to travel to Mars rather than. What would you choose?
We can learn more from research into space than most people realize.
Next, use more than to compare quantities or degrees. We can learn more from research into space than most people realize. Here, more refers to a greater amount of knowledge. The sentence compares what we can learn with what people think we can learn. Notice that the comparison doesn't always involve 2 physical objects. We can also compare ideas, expectations, and experiences. The opposite structure uses less.
Space exploration just isn't useful enough to justify the cost.
Now look at enough. Space exploration just isn't useful enough to justify the cost. The structure is adjective plus enough plus the infinitive. In this example, useful enough to justify. It means that space exploration does not reach the necessary level of usefulness. The word just adds emphasis to the negative opinion. Remember that enough comes after an adjective. Useful enough, not enough useful.
It's less important to fix future problems than it is to fix current ones.
Use less than when something has a lower degree of equality. It's less important to fix future problems than it is to fix current ones. We're comparing the importance of 2 actions. Fixing future problems is presented as having a lower priority. We can remove it as after than because the meaning remains clear. It's less important to fix future problems than to fix current ones. Be careful. Less is the opposite of more. We say less important than and more important than.
There are fewer benefits to space exploration.
Finally, use fewer with plural countable nouns. There are fewer benefits to space exploration. Benefits can be counted. 1 benefit, 2 benefits, 3 benefits. That's why we use fewer. Use less with uncountable nouns. So remember, fewer missions, fewer benefits, but less money and less information. Let's check what you've learned. Complete these sentences. Number 1, I'd prefer to explore Mars, study the ocean. Number 2, space research is useful than people realize. Number 3, the evidence isn't strong to justify the expense. Number 4, there are immediate benefits than expected. Correct answers. Number 1, I'd prefer to explore Mars rather than study the ocean. Number 2, space research is more useful than people realize. Number 3, the evidence isn't strong enough to justify the expense. Number 4, there are fewer immediate benefits than expected. Great work. You can now compare preferences, quantities, and importance. Leave a comment. Would you prefer to explore space or study the ocean and why?